this digital marketing, it's really about storytelling. And most great stories have millions of characters, each letter within a word, and thousands of words. But as digital marketers for camps, it's up to us, it's up to you to create that compelling once upon a time in 90 characters, 30 characters, sometimes 15 characters. So if the start of your story is not compelling, readers are going to find a better story. Now, what we will discuss today is how to start your story. And at the very end, there'll be a bit of a special bonus that I'm going to give you, how to continue that story a little bit more. And that will be the special bonus. So here's what we're going to learn today. First, how to set up your Google Ads account. Second, how to set up a search and display ad. How to choose keywords, which are key, no pun intended, or maybe a little pun intended. And where, when, and how to place ads that drive parents to action. And how to set your budget so you're rocking it all year long. And I can't stress this enough. Parents all year long are looking for summer experiences. Maybe not during COVID per se, but in a typical year, all year long. And I think one of the biggest knocks, I would say, on camp marketing, and no fault of camps in general, but just they tend to have a marketing season instead of doing it all year long. So that's my big take. One of my takeaways for you is that you should be doing this all year long. Now, just a little bit about me, what makes me someone who can sit here and talk about Google Ads, and also someone who can sit here and talk about marketing camps. Well, I spent, ever since I was 15, I've been working in camps. I spent a few years as an assistant director at a sleepaway camp. I was also the head director of an academics and academic/activities-based day camp, where I helped grow the program from 22 campers to over 200 in 4 years. Now, all the while, I also worked in admissions and marketing at some of the top independent and private schools in the Philadelphia and DC areas. I actually came to Maryland from Philly to help revamp a school and its enrollment and its failing summer programs, and that's just what I did. So now, as far as digital marketing is concerned, I've been doing this for the better part of 14 years now. I think we're above 14 years at this point. And, as you know, if you've been doing digital marketing, whether it's been on Facebook, Instagram, Google, or anything else, you know that it's an ever evolving message. So if you're done listening to me talk about myself and what I've done, give me a heck yes or a hell yes if you want to. But I did see some religious-based camps there. So how about a heck yes? Put a heck yes in the chat if you are done hearing me. Enough chit chat. Give me a heck yes in that chat. Come on, I know you're all out there. Or a smiley face, that works. Thank you, Nancy. All right, Nancy's going to get the prize for most responsive so far. All right, I'm going to just leave this right here, and we're going to jump into this. So based on what I heard from some of you yesterday and a couple days before and then today, Google Ads is something that's pretty foreign to most of you. So I'm going to go a little slow in the beginning. So if some of this stuff is old hat for you, I do apologize, but I do want to make sure that, for those that are on here, that they're really able to learn that. So the first thing you need to do is go to Google and then type in Google Ads. It's going to send you to a page. You're going to need to set a few things up. This is a dummy account that I've set up. So actually, I won't be able to launch ads because I haven't put in credit card information. What I'll actually do is bump over to one of our clients who's agreed to let us use theirs just to show some data. And they're happy about it too, because the data is it's good looking stuff. So the first thing I want you to do, and this is what a lot of camps where they say, oh, okay, here's what I need to do here. Actually, when you get to this screen here, what you want to do is you want to go down to switch to expert mode. This is what most digital marketers do. They use the expert mode. These modes up here, they're good. They can get you by. They're highly automated, but you're just not going to get that depth of the clients that you want, those families that you want to attract to your camp. So if you're playing along at home, awesome. You can click here and click switch to expert mode. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to build out a general search ad. So if I go up here and I type in best summer camp in, not Ontario, let's say Nebraska. So when I type this in here, now, right now it's telling me that there are no ads showing up. But when parents, they go in, this is how they start their journey. They don't go to Facebook. They don't go to YouTube. They go to Google. They type in summer camp, overnight camp, some variation thereof. And that's where they start their search. So if you can be at the very tip of that search, you're going to be in good shape. So to do that, I want to create a search-based ad. And there are a lot of different buttons you can press here. For this, I want to develop some, I may want to develop some brand awareness and reach. But really what I want, at least for the search ad, is I want people to come to my site to discover my camp. So I'm going to click website search here. We're going to go over a little bit of a display ad as well, but search is really where, if you had to put, if you'd say just there's one thing that you need to do, really it's search. So I'm going to click there. Now, let's see, Club Sci Kids, if I got that right, has volunteered to allow us to use them as a demo here. So I'm going to cut and paste the URL here for the business, paste it there. I'm not going to go over every single bell and whistle here because we would be here for 5 hours if that was the case. And I know I've just lost my little chat box. It has disappeared on me. There it is. Now I can see if you have questions. So for those that came in a little bit late, if you have questions, please feel free to use the chat as we go along. I will be glancing back and forth to the chat, which is up here. I know you guys are right here. And then my screen that you can see. Hopefully, you guys can all see my screen here, right? Give me a yes if you can see my screen over here. Nancy, I know I can count on you. Somebody beat Nancy to the punch. Oh, a lot of people beat Nancy to the punch. Well done. Great. So I put in Club Kids MD for Maryland over here. No hometown favorites. They were the first ones to get back to me this afternoon. So I'll go over this in a later webinar, creating conversion actions. Essentially what that means is if someone comes to your website and fills out a form, that's a conversion if that's what you want it to be. So what we've done here is we've clicked website traffic, we've clicked search, we've put in the main URL. We haven't messed with this, and I'm going to click continue. Anybody not with me? You can put it in the chat if you're not with me so far. Good. Now, you can name the campaign anything you want. Let's just say we want to get general awareness. We just want people to know, obviously people that would potentially send their kids to my camp. I just want to make them aware at this point. So we're just going to call this general awareness. Now, a couple tricks or a couple things to know about Google. There's a reason why they are a multi-billion-dollar company, maybe even more than that. It's because they know how to make money. So these boxes are pre-clicked, but the extended search network or the display network, these are sort of secondhand sites, search sites that rarely get visited. And if they do, your ad is going to not be in a very glamorous place. And you know, you're not selling a $10 item or a 99-cent item. You're selling an experience for a child, for a young person. And you are essentially taking a parent's most two prized possessions, their child and their money. So what's going to help get to the right people and with the right information is unclicking these. I'd say about 90% of the time at TruthTree, we unclick these boxes, unless it's a camp that's coming saying like, help, we have 15 days to get 5 more campers. Then we will probably leave these open because we just essentially want to flood the market and get the masses to come. Now, you can click here for more settings. Now, start and end dates. This is really good if you're just starting out. You don't want to sort of set it and forget it, because if you do put money behind it, let's say $20 a day, and you forget about it and you leave it go for a week, it's $140 that, you know, could be wasted if you didn't set up your ads correctly. So I always suggest selecting an end date, at least initially, maybe 4 or 5 days, just so if you aren't going in daily and monitoring what's happening, the ads will at least end. Now, these things here, you can set up. You don't necessarily have to. Some of them are a little bit second level. For camps, people, all days and nights, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to find a camp for my child. You don't want to negate that person from finding your ads. However, if your ad is give us a call, you may want to put some timing on this because it's great to call them, within 24 hours, but if you can call them immediately, you're going to get a better conversion rate from that. So you can set it up where you do Mondays through Fridays all day, or you can set it up where essentially creating, if I do it Mondays, I can do Mondays from, 6 a.m. to I don't know, my military time. What is that? What's 2000 hours, if I'm even saying that right? That's come on, Trevor, do your math here. Somebody put it in the chat box. What's 2000 hours? I'll send a 8 p.m. Thank you, Ari. I'll send you a Truth Tree hat. Let me write that down. Ari, do you like to wear hats? Let me know. Are you a hat wearer? Come on, Ari, stay with me, bud. Well, I'm going to send you one anyway. Get a hat. Oh, yes. Private. Nice. Nothing needs to be private about being a hat wearer. So I'm just going to X out of these, but you can set these up as well. Now, we're using Club Kids Camp, which, and again, I'm not being a homer here. They did email me, but they are in my neck of the woods. So I do understand what, and it says it right up here as well in one of these boxes that not that one. Where was it? Essentially, they, here it is. Locations in Howard County and Montgomery County. Those are both counties in Maryland. Andrew, does setting a time limit change the cost of running the ads? Andrew, actually, I don't know. I don't think so. The ad cost or the cost per click, or however you set it up, is essentially going to be based on competition. So if there's 50 camps that are bidding for the search term summer camp, it's going to be a higher cost because it's all being bid up. So it really has more to do with competition. So based on the information that I know about Club Sci Kids, it is a regional, a more local camp. So I'm not going to do the whole United States. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the location options. Now, again, Google always wants you to spend more, a little bit more, a lot of bit more on the ads that are running. So they're going to recommend things. Now, if you are a sleepaway camp or an overnight camp, yes, I might leave this clicked here. But for this camp, I'm going to do people in or regularly in the targeted area. And towards the end, I'll show you why, because what tends to happen if I type in best summer camp Pennsylvania, for example, well, they're not showing up right now, but my guess is that Camp Zeke, I don't believe, with a 212 area code here, my strong guess is this is not in Pennsylvania. Okay, so going back to this page here, I want people in or regularly in your targeted location. Not to poo-poo Camp Zeke, but they left this one checked. So now I'm going to enter those areas, and you can do this a lot of different ways. You can do it based on location. You can do it based on radius. Let's do Montgomery County, Maryland. We'll target that. It'll highlight that. We'll target Howard County. Let's see. There's another one in Texas too. So we can start off with that in targeting those two areas. But here's the thing. This is important for everybody to listen to. Is people don't always work inside of the county that they live in or the town that they live in. You can see here that Baltimore and Washington are not tagged right now. We're not getting any, but a lot of, obviously, in normal times, people work in Baltimore, they work in Washington, D.C. And when people are at work, believe it or not, they're not always working. Sometimes they are looking for summer camps or shopping or doing other things. So it's important to have a larger search area than the specific area that you target for a lot of different reasons. But the main one is where the parents are when they are searching. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is prime searching time on the net. They're doing basic searching because they know if their boss comes over or they have a phone call that they need to answer, they're able to take care of those things. They haven't gotten neck deep in a registration form. Does that all make sense? If that makes sense, please say yup in the chat. If that makes sense so far, put yup in the chat. Good. And that's really just my excuse to take a quick drink, freshen my palate. Good. Everybody's still with me. Excellent. Excellent. So what were those times again? Andrew, what do you mean by those times? Like the timing of the when the ad shows? That's what you meant. And when you said the prime, oh, sorry. Yes, parents are online, and this is in normal times, at which, we're getting back there hopefully sooner than later. But 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are when people are most active online, but looking for quick action. That's when Amazon makes a lot of its money is, oh my gosh, I need a new one of these. Bing, bang, boom. I've just ordered it. I can get back to work. So I have I've touted these towns here. I really should add Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. I'm just not for the sake of time. Now, if you are in an area that has a heavily bilingual or another language other than English, you can choose those languages here. You don't have to speak or be able to write in those languages, but it will show to those languages. Now, audience. A couple different philosophies here when it comes to audience. You are kind of honing in on the funnel of people when you add to the audience. Rarely is a 90-year-old man with no kids, no grandkids, no great-grandkids searching for a summer camp. Okay. But if you have a larger area that you are drawing from, if you are an overnight camp, you draw from the United States or internationally, you would want to create some audiences here because you have a wider swath and you don't want somebody clicking on your ad that's looking for something else costing you $2, $3, $4 when they have zero intention of that. So with that said, what I want to put in here, and there's a lot of different things you can do. You can browse, you can search. Once you start to browse and start to fill these in, it'll pop up with some ideas, which are great. So obviously, what's my number one target? Who am I targeting? Give me one word. Somebody in the chat, what's one word? Who am I targeting? Parents, exactly. So I'm going to type in parents, if I can spell correctly, and it's going to start to populate things. Now, perfect. First thing that comes up, you understanding what ages that you serve, you want to put that in here. Club Sci Kids serves 4 to 15-year-olds. So I'm going to click this button. Now, there's always going to be a little bit of, with Google, there's going to be a little bit of residual. So they do have 13, 14, and 15-year-olds. So I need to click there. And then also 6 to 12-year-olds. Now, that prompts Google to say, wow, I've got some other ideas for you. Now, you can leave it at this because that's essentially your target audience. But you can do it based on what kind of camp you have, or you can, for people that prize childcare, that's really important to them. They're also their child's summer experience is probably equally as important as well. If you are like an outdoors camp, or if you are well, in this case, it's a science-based camp. So I'll type in science here, see what comes up. Or I can type in science camp. We'll even go that deep to see if they have it. Now, if any of these appeal to you, and the beauty of Google is that pretty much anything, if you need an explanation, you can hover over. So these people, or this audience, are people that are looking for temporary or seasonal jobs. Obviously, that's nothing to do with you. But if you're like an outdoor, or I can type in science here, see what comes up. Let's see. We've already done those. So technology education, maybe you'd want to do some of that. Because the deal is that as smart as Google is, or Facebook, or any of these, they don't know every single parent in Howard County and Montgomery County that have 4 through 15-year-olds. So that's where you may want to include some other audience types that are in here. So maybe I'll type in summer and no results show up, which is fine. Then the beauty of this is that you have time, you can play with this as much as you want, whether you use the ideas or not. So for now, we're going to leave it as is. And then what you can do is you can just target what Google knows as these parents, okay? And it skipped up on me, it skipped down on me. So you can target just these folks here, or you can leave it a little bit open to say, hey, don't narrow the reach for your campaign. You know, I want to be able to attract anybody who may be looking for a summer camp. Now, when you do this, it's important to have good keywords, and we're going to talk about keywords. Now, budget. So again, I set this, and I don't know that I kept it, but it's a 5-day. You know, if I'm running this from today until the 17th, you know, and I just want to see how things work out. Let's do $10. Well, that's a lot of money. Let's do $10 a day. See how things work out. Now, bidding, for those that are new to this, leave it on clicks. You want to get clicks. You want to have people coming to your website. Just a quick tip, and this is a little bit more of a 2.0 tip for you, is if I was to do impression share. So let's say it's May 30th and camps start in, you know, or it's June 14th and a lot of camps start June 15th. Anybody at that point who's searching for a summer camp, it's, I don't want to call it an emergency, but maybe their camp shut down. Maybe they moved. Maybe they completely forgot that summer just started and they need a camp for their kid. If that's the case, they type in best summer camp in Nebraska, do you think that person who needs to put their kid in a camp tomorrow, or if it's Friday on Monday, they're going to go to page 6, 7, or 8? Who's got an answer for that? Is that parent going to go to page 6, 7, or 8? No. They're going to go to page 1, maybe 2. So the higher you can show up on page 1, the better. So my quick tip for that is using the impression share. You want to be at the absolute top or the top of the results page, but I'll do absolute top. Let's say 75% of the time. And your max bid for that is, we'll even put it to like $15, because you've got room. It's 3 days, 4 days before camp is going to start. You want people to find you. So that's a quick tip for that. But for the most part, you want to just stay with clicks, especially if you're a beginner at this. Now, site link extensions, call out extensions, call extensions, we'll get to these at another level. Essentially, if I was to, looking at this ad for Camp Zeke right here, this is, and we're going to build this out, not with Camp Zeke, but these are sightline extensions, or these are, yeah, site link extensions. This is a phone extension here where you can take that phone number and obviously call it. But popping back into here, we're going to skip that for now because I want to build out the ad. But before we build out the ad, and of course, there's always a new version of Google Ads that's available. I'm going to skip that because it might be something I haven't learned yet. You can name it. You can name it whatever you want. We'll do summer camp. Now, based on this URL that they pre-populated, it's coming in here with keywords. Now, here's the deal. You can please look these over before you just say, oh, good, it's already given me the best keywords possible, because it might not. And you also want to add some more. Now, you're going to do just fine if you leave these in here, as long as they are appropriate. Now, I wouldn't consider a 4-year-old a toddler, so here's one immediately that I can delete. If you want to keep costs down, what you also want to do with some of these is summer camp in Maryland, camp for kids in Howard County. And again, for those that have just come in, these are location-based pieces based on where Club Sci Kids draws from. Now, when we do this, these are all broad search matches. Once we've created the ad, and that's something I can't do because I don't have any money behind it. we can go in and mass phrase match these, meaning that that all of the words to some extent need to be in the ad. If I just type in like camp for kids, it may be somebody who's looking for camping equipment for their kids, or someone who, wants to have kids, and I don't know, in the Camp Randall, Wisconsin area, your ad may show up. So I always, almost 100% of the time, whether you do it in here or you do it once you've created the ad, is you want to put those quote marks around these phrases. Any questions so far or thoughts about this that you want to put in the chat? Go for it. So I'm not going to spend time here to put the quote marks around all of them. But as I do that, what you can see is how many clicks per day and what the average cost per click. That's what CPC means. And again, pretty much anything in Google you can hover over, Google Ads, and it will give you a pretty basic explanation for what all that stuff is. Now, I always like at Truth Tree, we usually have a ton of keywords because people now have conversations with Google. So it may be camp for my indoorsy kiddo. I mean, believe it or not, people will type things like that. If you can show up, because nobody else is bidding on this key phrase here, I mean, maybe one person, that's going to keep costs low. The more conversational you can get with your keywords, the better you're going to be. Now, yes, summer camp will always be the top keyword that gets people to see your ad and hopefully to click on it. But that costs a lot per click. So if you can create what we call long tail keywords, and really they're key phrases, the better off you're going to be. So a good way to do that, I'll show you towards the end, is looking at literally what people are searching for when they're looking for camp. So we're going to save this as is. You can create multiple groups based on ages, based on maybe there's different parts of your camp that are going to be attractive to some people. Lego, I mean, I'm not guessing here. A STEM-based science camp. Other parents are going to want to find something that frankly is just close by, and they're not going to get run over by, a 16-year-old because they're playing football. So Andrew asked, for those conversational keywords, would you still put quotes around to exactly keywords? Andrew, that's a great question. In fact, I would do it more for them, because if you're doing a conversational keyword, indoorsy, I mean, it could show an ad just because you typed in indoorsy. Like, I'm an indoorsy person how do I become an outdoorsy person? An adult might write. And people, they click on anything that even remotely looks like something they're looking for. And that's why when we set up these ads, it's important that if you are going to be more general, your headlines need to be specific, because I want people to know that this is a summer camp. It's not a book or a cure or an audio tape about how to become an outdoorsy person. Does that make sense? Excellent. You're welcome. So I'm saving that. So we've got Club Kids here. Now, the reason it's showing this up, do I dare click on this? I dare. Probably going to ruin the whole experience for you all, because I've just upgraded to a new version. Doesn't look, I think it's just the look and feel of it. So far, so good. So you always want to have the WW or the TTPS. And then there we go. Now it disappeared. So it wants the entire address. Now you don't have to use the home page. In fact, the little tip towards the bonus is you probably don't want to use the home page unless your home page has everything you need. Now, I'm a huge fan of forms. If you can provide them value, you've already hopefully emoted them to a place of, this camp looks great. I love this camp for my kiddo. And then they jump on to the landing page, and that even more so, yes, 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 this is telling the story that I want for my child. when they're at that emotive level, if you can get them to fill out a form to let themselves be known to you, that's what you're looking for right now. Or make that phone call, whatever it happens to be that you want them to do, you want them to do it right now. So a big click here to register or to find out more information would be great. But, and I'm not knocking it because not a lot of camps follow that, but that's what I would want for, this is great for a homepage, but that's what I really want for a landing page. So I jumped the shark a little bit with that piece. So now they'll even fill in some of this stuff for you. Now, I don't think you want exclusive discounts to be your lead. Probably not. You might want this to be your headline too, and you probably don't want this. So again, AI is smart, but I think we're still smarter. So a couple things when you're creating your ad. We've already said that you don't necessarily want your homepage to be the final URL. You want it to be a landing page, somewhere where they can find out more about that specifically. So you can do a general ad. You can do one for people that may, you know, hey, so, all right, Howard County. So if I was gearing one more just towards Howard County, if we backed out of this a little bit and I just targeted Howard County, my ad might start off with, and HOCO is what we call it in this area, or Howard County, and maybe we're just targeting moms or dads. That's how deep you can get with this. Hey, Howard County parents. Uh-oh. So we've already noticed that we've gone over our character limit. So this is really a matter of your ethos. If you are cool with putting, for example, the number 4 here, to cut down on it. Now that will stand out with other ads, looking for a great camp experience, looking for a top camp experience. And again, I need to learn to spell. We're still over by 1. So, you know, you can fiddle with this a lot. You may just want to scrap this one, but I want to, I'm talking to Howard County parents. Boom, we got 30 characters. Really, there should be a question mark at the end of that. So I'm going to change this to the number 4, and I am going to put a question mark at the end of that one. And then Club Sci Kids Chesapeake. Now you'll notice here that it's not showing up, and that's for good reason. Not all headlines are always going to show. In fact, for the most part with camps, it's not going to show because they want to put as many ads above the fold as possible to, shocker, make more money. So you'll always want to have some identifier up here of what you are. Now, unless you are the end-all be-all summer camp in your region or nationally or internationally, nobody cares about the name of your camp. I apologize for saying that, but nobody cares about the name of your camp. What they care about is what you can do for their kid, what benefits you can provide, what fun you can provide, what continuing education you can provide for their kid. So you don't need to lead with the name of the camp. Okay, now, yes, maybe Camp Zeke, overnight camp. I don't think they're on here, but maybe that is the end all be all camp. All right, or they, you know, they just have an ad that starts with that. If I bounce over to this page here, we see more camps, Camp Saginaw, the Summer Lady. You guys probably know who the Summer Lady is. But here's some more where they start with the name of the camp. And yeah, there's some facts here and they're great, but if you can talk about a benefit, if you can get their attention and talk about a benefit here, you know, hey, Howard County parents, does your child love science? Click here. You can say things like that. Now, with the description, if you're going to be factual up here, you know, so instead like summer camp, or how about we do science summer camp, ages, which is great because if I've got a 3-year-old or I've got a 16-year-old, I'm less likely to click on your ad and therefore saving you money because it's not a camp that my child can attend. So science summer camp, ages 4 to 15, locations in MoCo and HOCO. If you live in this area, you're very, very familiar with the terms MoCo and HOCO. So right there, I'm like, okay, great. I've got a 7-year-old and I'm in MoCo. then I want to read something down here in the descriptions. Now, if you're going to be factual up top, you can be more conversational at the bottom. This is where we like to call it being the hero-centric. So most camps are going to start off with Club Sci Kids is a great camp for kids who like science, which is nice. That sounds fine. But what we like to do is put the parent or the child in the hero position. Your science-loving child will thrive, will, you know, whatever descriptor you want to put, will love being at our camp this summer. Register today. Something like that. So by putting your science, oh my gosh, how did you know my child is a science lover? He might love this. I've also put a quote in here. Just it draws people's eye to it. If you have anything that is trademarked or rights reserved, where are my rights reserved ones? Let's do TM. There we go. Something like that. You'll notice over here how, I mean, that sticks out, or you can put the little rights reserved one here. So if I was to do that, anything to make it stick out, but don't, obviously, if you don't have anything trademarked, rights, well, you get the idea. You can't put it may show up here and over here, but it's going to tell you, and it's already told me that, hey, that red line means I don't like that. So I'm going to take that out and it's going to turn back to blue. And I like that. So the first description is always going to show. The first and second headlines are always going to show. The third one might not show. So you don't, I mean, I don't want to say don't spend a lot of time with this one, but with this one, you know, you might just want to, some people will put the URL if it fits, and it does. But you'll notice that it's not showing. You can always look at the different previews that pop up here. But again, all three don't show up. And then you can put the description. Now, knowing that this ad is the one going to your website, what you can do with the paths are two things. It's a cool place for you to put, you know, things like #1 summer camp in Maryland. I sound like I'm from England. In Maryland, something like that. So, I mean, that's just like, oh, it's the #1 summer camp in Maryland. Now, I mean, I don't know if there's any official rankings out there, but something like that is also going to catch someone's eye. When you look at your analytics and you see that this ad brought a lot of people to your website, a lot of them filled out the form. And then after they filled out the form, they spent a lot of time going through your website, reading things, maybe subscribing to your e-newsletter. You can see in your analytics that this whole URL is what brought them in and say, wow, that ad's pretty awesome. We should continue to use that ad this year, next year, and into the future. So I've got my first ad. I'm going to click done. Any questions before I click done? Any questions before I click done? All right. I'm going to click done. I'm going to click save and continue. You can create other ads in here. But what I want to do is, and it's going to always say like, but you should make 2. What's my policy violation? So you can always look for policy violation. Oh, they don't like some of my, they probably don't like this asterisk here. It could be this. You've always got to kind of play with it, especially if you're trying to be very creative with things. It still doesn't like something. Let's see, there's a punctuation, maybe the love. So I'm just going to take this word out. Obviously, I'm not going live with this ad. Click done, click save again. Still doesn't like it. So I am going to, you're still not going to do it, huh? Oh, it has taken me to the second one. So I'm just going to scribble in some stuff here, just so I can keep going. I can show you. And it's always going to prompt you to do. Now, a responsive ad is essentially just taking all of those pieces that you've done and creating like a Frankenstein one. Oh, because of billing. Okay. So I'm going to back out of this. going to go all the way back. Now what we're going to talk about is display ads. So these are the ads that you see. If I go to CNN right now, hopefully there's no breaking news where I have to stop this to read it. But what you'll see up here is an ad. So One Life Fitness, they're I don't know when they're going to open it. They started construction before COVID, and there were huge delays. But right up the street from my house, there is a new One Life Fitness being built. So they are obviously targeting this area. They might have some indicators. The way you can see that is by clicking here and figuring out, why am I seeing this ad? So you can well, it's not giving me the exact reason, but it's very likely because they're just targeting, this general area. I'm probably, I'm within their age bracket. I do like to work out. So that's a big reason why I'm seeing that ad right there. And then down here, let's see. So my oldest daughter, for her birthday, because obviously we're not having birthday parties right now, she and my wife and my daughter, and it's a girls' weekend. They're going on a trip to a fancy hotel where they'll be hunkered down. I was helping to look for hotels. My guess is that's why I'm seeing this ad here. Now, so this one is based on my search history, where the one that was up here is not. So these are great places. You shouldn't expect people to click on these ads a lot. They are great for brand awareness, and they are really inexpensive. So if where was it? Let's see. Where was the one I just created? I think it was this one. I'm in setup mode. And if this doesn't work, what I'll do is just pop over to, come on. Okay. Oh, you're going to kick me back here, huh? I want to cancel. All right, let's do this. Let's just pop over to another demo account that I had been working on. So this is going to show a little bit of stuff. And we are going to create a display ad. So in this case, I'm going to click New Campaign, and you can do web traffic. You can do brand awareness. Excuse me for 1 second. I have to talk to my daughter. Hey, Alice, I'm on a webinar. Can you go upstairs, please? Okay. Okay, but I need you to go upstairs right now, all right? Thanks. You tell them. I mean, how many of you out there have been on webinars, whether you're, and all been there. Thanks, Randy. I appreciate that. It doesn't matter how many times you tell, from 1 to 2, don't come downstairs. All right. So I've clicked on web traffic. I'm clicking on display. I am going to pop over here once again to grab this URL. One thing I do notice here is that it's not secure. That's definitely something you want to do, is secure your site. Yeah, and it won't allow that. So just one thing to think about as you are updating your websites is to make sure that they are secure. So I've typed this in. I'm going to click continue. You can call this whatever you want. So let's do Moco STEM fan. So these are people like, hey, my kid's great at STEM. I love STEM. The whole universe revolves around STEM education. So I'm going to go back in here. Again, I'm going to click people in or regularly in because this is a regional camp. I got to pop back up here. Because I'm just doing Montgomery County. Now you can still do DC, but I'm going to type in Montgomery County again. And it doesn't have to be it could be, well, my town, Olney, Maryland. So if I type in Olney, you can target by this. You can also target by radius. So, which typically is what I like to do. So if I did Olney, Maryland here, target that, it's going to default to a 20-mile radius around it. You don't have to leave it at that. You can change it. So you just pop in here. Now here's another little trick. If you are trying to micro-target an area, so this is great for geo-fencing. If there's an event going on, lots of families at some sort of event, you can actually go down to 1 mile. But if you even want to get smaller than that, you can go down to 1 kilometer, because for those that are smart, they know that a kilometer is smaller than a mile. And boom, there you go. You've targeted essentially, I don't know, 200 households there. So yes, that's something that you can do to do this. Now, for that, you're going to have a very small population that you're targeting. Now, when it comes to bidding, it's a little bit different for display versus search. But yes, you do want to have high quality traffic. You want people that are going to, good websites. I had one of our school partners is a progressive left-leaning school, and a parent called the school, and then the person called me and said, "Are you putting ads on Breitbart.com?" And I said, "No, not specifically." And like, "Oh, an angry parent called and said that they saw an ad on Breitbart and were upset that we would be advertising there." And my question back was, well, if they're a parent at your school and you're a left-leaning school, what were they doing on Breitbart? So you definitely want to have good quality places for your ads to show up. And then you can set the bidding however you like. We're not going to get into the bidding right now. I'm just going to do a $10 average bid here. Now we're going to go down, and you can see that they've already suggested, like, oh, here's some suggestions for who you want to target. We can target based on what the audience might be looking for or who they are. So if they're family focused, if it's a sports camp, you might want to click on sports and fitness. Kids camps, perfect. All right, we can target specific kids camps websites that you may not even know about, but your ad, if they run Google display ads, you can do that. You can also do it based on demographics. So if you're a very expensive camp, you may only want to target, and you can leave unknown unclicked, but you can target just the top 10%. And you can always see along the way, what your target impression rate is going to be. Obviously, we would probably want parents, but again, Google doesn't know everybody, so you may just want to leave the unknown clicked as well. And then, for those parents that, frankly, if you've done top 10% and parents here, you can probably leave, if they're parents, they 18 to 24, they probably don't have a 4-year-old. Same thing for, 55, but the 65 plus crowd, probably we would want to leave out there. So now that we've got that, we can do target impression. If I turn this off, this number over here, when it refreshes, is going to go down significantly. So you always want to leave a little bit of room for that, because again, Google does not know every single person's, age, the children present in the house. And I think a lot of us are becoming a lot better at kind of hiding our information from those things. Now, a couple ways to go about display ads. You can build your own, and you have to know what the size proportions are, or Google very easily will build responsive ads for you. And they're great at just scanning a website. So you can search the website and you can pull photos from there. You can use stock images, which I do not do unless you absolutely have to, because at this point, people know what stock images look like. Obviously, you can also upload images. Now, for the sake of time, I am going to use images that have been selected, although it didn't like that one. So let's go back to the results and we'll choose this picture. Why is it not showing in here? That's an image. Failed to load the image. Why would that be? I'll try this one. Nope. All right, so let me just throw an image in here. That's not a logo. Back to results. It's pulling from there. So it may be, well, I'm not associated with the account, and it may be pulling it like that. So let's just embarrass me by seeing whatever photos right now are. Oh, there's me, and here's a camp we may be working with. Oh, we got a latecomer to the group. So it's telling me that there's an image error here, which is fine, because you really do have to make sure that the photos that you choose are, here's a logo that we can pop in the logo. So I can use this image. Now, depending on the how it's going to show up here. Now, again, this is going to be a logo, so I do want to change this to logo. And I'll select the ratio, and then I'm going to add, let's just pull, oh, there's destination science. I didn't like that picture. Pictures, documents. Hopefully there's nothing, we'll try this one here. So again, it said there's an image error. So you have to be really, really, really careful with your images. So you know what, for the sake of this, I'm going to do a stock image. And we'll do summer camp. And we'll pull this image here. And then you can select the ratio that you want. So if you want to show this half or this half, you can do that. We can pop it in the middle. And then we'll select those two ratios, and then we'll save that. And then what will start to populate over here is you can see what is in the ad. Now, these are great. Again, these are great if you have a huge deal like 99% off summer camp, if you click here right now today, or for brand awareness, like, hey, you know, here's the camp. These are really great for retargeting. So as an example of retargeting, I go to Club Sci Kids, and, you know, I pal around here a little bit. Oh, this is just a science camp. Like they're inside all day. Obviously, they're not inside all day based on this. But I want my kid outside running around. You know, he or she's been inside for a very long time, all summer, all spring, summer, winter long. I want them outside. So this ad, based on that information, this ad could talk about the outside aspects of your camp. So science camp, outside time. Just right. So again, I mean, I'm totally spitballing right now, but we're a science camp with outside time. So, hey, my kid loves science, but I want my kid to be outside. They may not click on the ad, which is fine. What they're probably going to do is look at the name of the camp, which we'll put down right here. And they'll say, oh, Club Sci Kids. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to search that in a new box. That's great because they've seen your ad. Yes, it's an impression, but they didn't click on it. So you're saving money, and yet they're still popping over to your camp. Now, you can do up to 5 headlines and a long headline. So each kind of description. Now, the beauty of this too is that you can say what websites you want this to show on. So if there are websites specific to Montgomery County, Maryland, you can put them on those sites. If you are in Montgomery County, Maryland, you're probably very, very familiar with DC Urban Moms, which is trafficked by a lot of parents, and they do show Google ads, although I'm not sure why they're not popping up. They usually pop up right over here. I'm not sure why. Oh, it's still spinning, so it's probably trying to figure out what ads it wants to show me. But you can choose specific websites. You can target me specifically. So whether I go here or I'm a big hockey fan. So for example, with display ads, I can explain pretty much why I see every ad. I don't know what's going on with my computer and it not showing ads. So why is it showing this? I don't know. So I can explain why I'm seeing this one. Maybe my daughter was on my computer shopping for clothes. I have a new fetish for Michael Jordan shoes. I have 2 pairs now. That's why it's showing me this, because I bought them on eBay. So it's targeting me that way. The other thing is about 90% of the people that come to this site are men. So it's probably targeting, it's saying, hey, you know, we're going to roll the dice, and assuming that 90% are men, they might want to wear men's clothes here. If I refresh this page, you're going to see a different, manscaping. Let's see. Why is it showing me this ad? I don't even know what this is an ad for, because I just see things that are locked. Hood Mart. Well, I'm not sure why it's showing this stuff here. Let me click on it. It looks like a big company, so I'm going to cost them a couple bucks. An indoor cooler. I have no idea. That was a different. I have no idea why it's showing me this one. So egg on my face for this ad here, and I'll send Hood Mart a check for a couple bucks. So bouncing back into here, you can create those headlines. You can have them show on specific pages. And just to kind of sum up this aspect of it, and you can see the different styles of it and the different formats by clicking on this stuff, image ads, and whether it's on your phone or on your desktop. You can see what they're going to look like. So these are the can ones that you'll see, you know, this one here, like on a sidebar on DC Urban. And you can even pick just this page here. Again, my computer's foiling me because usually those ads would show up here along this side, here along this side. And again, people aren't going to this site saying, oh, gee, I really hope I see an ad for a camp. No, they're not doing that. But if they see that and there's a good enough hook, or they're like, oh, that's that camp I keep seeing over and over and over again, or they've been to your site, it's a great way to retarget those people. So with that, are there any questions? If you have questions, because I've got a little bit left and we have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to jump back into my presentation to kind of go over what we didn't get too much into budgeting, but essentially for budgeting, really, you know, it's a matter of obviously what your budget is. For search ads, $5 a day can get you what you need. For display ads, $2 a day. You don't need much more than that because you're talking about pennies per 1,000 impressions. And, you know, don't expect with display-based ads to see, you know, a ton of clicks and a ton of action. So is this big? Yes, Allison, this, I did record this, or it's being recorded right now. So I will be sending that out probably next week for those that are interested in that. So wrapping up, just a couple of tips. And I've said this a few times. Parents don't search for summer camps on Facebook. They research summer camps on Facebook and other places, but that's not where they go, you know, fingers crossed, I really hope I see an ad for a summer camp. Families are just starting. So this is based on our research, based on the summer camps that we work with right now, is, and it depends on your kind of camp, usually overnight camps, 8-week camps, camps where a lot of preparation has to go into it. This is typically the time where they're in consideration phase because registration, you know, may open up today or December or January 1, and usually within weeks, you guys know they're full. Then after that, those are the, you know, the smaller camps, the day camps, the ones that are, you know, within my town. Those are the ones that come next. And then those smaller specialty camps, those 5-day camps, usually I call them the filler camps between, you know, a 4-week session here, 1 week at a specialty camp, and then we're going to go on vacation. And then there's a couple more specialty camps at the end of the summer. Kids and parents right now, they want they missed out for the most part this past summer. Families that are looking for a good camp, they want to make sure their kid gets the best summer ever. So they are going to be looking in full force. They're going to make sure that your camp is the best out there. So who's got questions? It's 2 o'clock. We've been here for 60 minutes. I want to see anybody who has questions that I can answer for you. So if you have those questions, you can put them in the chat. Oh, I forgot the special bonus. How could I forget the special bonus? Landing pages. So you put all this time into making a great ad or a great set of ads, and you send them to your home page, which doesn't have an immediate call to action. There's no form that's readily available. You want to make sure that you get their information. Their email is all you need. You don't need, and I see some of these camp inquiry forms, not registration, inquiry forms that have an enormous amount of information required. I just want to know that if my kid has an asthma attack, what's the protocol? All right. I'm not ready to register yet. Like my kid turns 7 on July 1st. Your camp starts June 16th and allows 7-year-olds. Can my kid come to your camp? I don't want to fill out a whole huge long form to just find out that information. It's 2020. I don't want to pick up the phone. Maybe I'll text you if you give me a text number. This is the form that you want, not this one specifically. This is our fictitious camp right here. This is long too. Name, really for something like that, name, email, what's your question? This is a simple inquiry form. I want to know a little bit about it. These two sentences here, there's a call to action, and there's something that builds on what was in the ad. All right, your child deserves a happy, safe, and character-building summer. Not all camps tout character-building aspects. So my guess is the ad said something about character-building summer experience, character-building camps. All right. So landing pages are very, very important to get that information, because if you can get that information in November and your camp really registration doesn't open until January, like a lot of your competitors, and you can start to drip them information or let them see you on Facebook and other places, you're building huge value that when it comes time for them to pick a camp, you're already ahead of the competition. So Andrea asks, how does Google decide how much each click is worth? Andrea, it's based on essentially competition. So if you go to an auction and somebody's auctioning off a Truth Tree cup here, if there's only one person bidding on it, it's not going to go for much, which would probably be the case. But if 50 people are bidding on this, Google wants to make money. It's not just going to say sold, you win that position or that click. It's going to give different positions. If you're in the top position, it's going to cost a little bit more than if you're in the second position or in the third or fourth position. Same thing for Facebook. If you have the top sponsored ad, because you've hit that target, it's going to cost more than the 50th sponsored ad. Randy says, you're a camp man, you know this is a collection of leads. Yeah, yep. So this is a lead generating form right here. Now, typically what we do is we have different layers. If I wanted to make this just a squeeze page, the only thing that they could do on this page is fill out the form. You can't click here. You can see there's no other buttons other than connect with us. But typically we don't like to do that because some people like, this is, I don't want to give you my phone number, even though the little asterisk is here that indicates that it would be required. The only things required are your name and your email, but people see phone and, oh, my kid's name and my age. Nope, not going to give it to you. There's no way off this page other than to just X out or click back or something along those lines. So usually we like to give a little bit of line there for them, if they're not willing to fill this out, to at least explore more about Camp Truth Tree. Good questions, good thoughts. Other thoughts and questions? All right, so if you feel very, very confident that you can at least start a Google Ads campaign based on what you've learned today, I want to thank you for being here. So if you feel that you are ready to go, or if you are ready to rock, you are dismissed. But if you want to learn more about what Truth Tree can do, and there's no obligation, you can stick around for like 3 more minutes and I can explain to you a little bit about what we can do for your camp. So if you're taking off now, I appreciate you being here. You guys have been awesome. Great questions. I love that you guys have been engaged. Hopefully you've checked your email only 2 or 3 times because I've kept you kind of in the loop. So instead of saying like, here's what we can do, this is what we've done for some camps. Oh, you're welcome, Randy. Here's what we've done for some of our camp partners in the here and now, and also in the here and past, because obviously we didn't get a lot of action this past year. In fact, we told most of our camps, like, listen, all of our data says that camps are probably not going to run unless your state has a weird mandate. Now, some of the camps did run. But what we want to do, again, is we want to build that engagement and get that attention. So it's really up to your ethos. If you want to use like Camp Kennybrook did up here, using some emojis, calling yourself the top or the best. People do stick around for things like that. Now, how it works, if you say, you know what, Trevor, this is awesome, love what I've seen, we can do a little bit of it, but we would really like some more help. That's what we do. We work with camps and schools on digital marketing, and that's it. So essentially you decide what you want, and I'll explain what you can want in a little bit. We send you an onboarding form. We schedule a digital marketing strategy session with you, and then we stay in constant contact with you. It's not a set it and forget it. It's not, listen, you've given us your information and we'll be back in touch with you in 30 days and then 30 days after that. Some of our camp partners we're in touch with almost every day. And the reason is because we're in our camp partners' campaigns every single day. Now, some days we're in there for 5 minutes. Everything's looking great. Another day you're like, hey, you know, we're a co-ed camp. And for whatever reason, registration is about 70-30 boys to girls. We need to attract more girls, or we need more kids at, you know, age 7, 8, and 9, and we're full with 13, 14, 15. That's when we go in and we make those adjustments to attract the right people. Now, this is from 2018-19, not this past cycle, was that our camps averaged a 21.82 return on investment when they invested in Truth Tree. So I repeat that. This was not from this last year, because actually I think it was a lot more than that, because there were the few camps that remained with us throughout the spring and the summer saw huge returns, because frankly, they were the only camp in town, or the only game in town. So I won't put up that. Now, these are our costs right now, but here comes the sales pitch. If by the 18th, you say, hey, you know what, Trevor, we would love to partner with you on one of your packages, you get a really nice discount. So the Enrollment Edge SEO, that's organic. If I type in best summer camp near me, organically, not the ad, we want you to show up high. Okay. With that, you get a lot of bells and whistles. You get on page and off page, everything that comes with SEO. What really, I think, makes us unique in that is that our proprietary relationship with parent-based websites, think Macaroni Kid, think Red Tricycle, Mommy in America. We have relationships with those websites. So if there's information that you have that we can put on those websites for free, we do that. It creates great backlinks. It helps your SEO. Moving across the page to the SEM and SMM, this is essentially what we just talked about. So we can do Google, Bing, Yahoo ads for you. You can choose up to 3 platforms, and we don't skimp. Google and YouTube, that's one platform. Facebook and Instagram, that's one platform. The third platform, it's up to you. We'll do our research and say, hey, you know, in your neck of the woods, in your region, you know, people use, and the next one will probably be Yelp. In some cases, maybe Yahoo, Bing, and DuckDuckGo, depending on who those folks are out there. We're going to do all manner of ads, search, display, dynamic ads, you name it, we're going to do it. We're going to pixel your website. We're going to tag your website so you can track conversions. So it's not us saying, yeah, we've done all this for you. Like, where, you know, when the rubber meets the road, it's all about registrations. You know, we can send millions of people to your website, but unless they register and essentially you have that camp enrollment, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Now, you package those together, you get a nice discount with the Enrollment Edge all-in-one package. You get the SEO, you get the SEM, SMM, plus we're going to build 2 custom landing pages for you. So maybe one's for if you've got a girls and a boys section camp, one for girls, one for boys. You know, you've got equestrian and soccer. We'll build one that's more leaning towards the equestrian stuff, maybe with photos. This one's more soccer oriented. And then you also get a free website content audit. So essentially what we do is go onto your website and say, hey, here's how we would modify your website without changing a whole lot of stuff to make the experience better for parents or kids that go onto your website. So again, and I'm going to send out an email after this that includes this special that we're running, along with the video. That probably will come out next week. If you missed anything, Allison, I know you did, or if anybody had to go up and use the restroom or get lunch, or you fell asleep. If you did, I hope you had a good nap, or continuing to have a good nap. But we'll send that stuff out. So, are there any questions about our services that you have? You can put those in the chat. If you don't, and I will talk slowly if you don't. Wow, we got a lot of Look at this. Allison, we got AG, 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 and BB. Who'd have thunk it? That's pretty cool. That's pretty weird. All right, if there are no more questions, I am going to stop sharing. And what I will say is thank you so much for taking the time. If you do have questions that weren't answered, please feel free to email me. But if not, good luck with Google Ads. It's something you definitely need to be doing. It is worth the time to learn it. But if you need any help, even just learning it, just reach out to me, okay? All right, everyone, take care.